Welcome to Scriptures for Life with TorahFamily.org. Taking time to focus on the Father's way. Proverbs chapter 4, verses 14 and 15. Do not set foot on the path of the wicked, or walk in the way of evil men. Avoid it. Do not travel on it. Turn from it and go on your way. Of those who are trying to obey Yahweh, who is going to willfully walk in the path of wicked men, or the way of evil men? It's just not something we are going to choose if we are truly wanting to do what's right. So why the warning? The warning is to make us aware of these paths that can be taken through compromise. Think of it this way. In order to deceive someone, you have to make the bad not look bad. The enemy will do all he can to get you off the way of righteousness. He knows the only way to make that happen is to make the evil paths look as innocent as possible. None of us would willingly drink a glass of poison. Yet, how often have we willingly accepted a drop of poison here or a drop of poison there simply because it's disguised as not that bad? Let this be a focus in your time of meditation throughout the day. Until next time, Shalom.
뭐였어, 근데?
The marriage was pretty tumultuous. It was up and down, but ultimately it imploded under its own forces.
During my collegiate years, I really explored what it meant to be agnostic and atheist, and I rejected Christianity entirely. And that resulted in one of the worst periods of my life.
In 2010 to 2011, I deployed to Afghanistan.
I was in a car accident, which led to a painkiller addiction.
Not too long after I found out I was pregnant, my daughter was born stillborn.
I faced a tremendous amount of adversity, pain, and confusion that no child should have to endure.
Due to status issues, my parents and siblings had...
This is the Eye for an Eye channel. Welcome to today's show. I've talked more and more about 5G, how we're headed towards 6G, how they're telling us that 6G is going to be inside of people's bodies. But it is kind of amazing if you drive down a highway in this country and you actually just look around and pay attention. You know, we've all kind of been desensitized if you think about it. Like when we see these giant electrical towers on the side of the road, I often used to think when we drive by those, and I'd say to myself, wow, imagine how people would feel like 100 years ago if they saw these things, and now we don't even notice them. Well, the same thing has occurred with those giant towers that we see literally everywhere. And if people only knew the dangers of what those towers can do to people and what they're currently doing on a day-to-day basis to the insides of people's bodies. Now, 5G turning into 6G, the frequencies being used, and of course, the fact that we have so much predictive programming out there with these towers. Specifically, I want to cover, again, Westworld. Now, I've covered Westworld in the past, many things from Westworld, but again, I want to focus on some of the narratives in the show, not just the graphene, not just the black goo, but the narratives in the show about being able to control people through these towers. Now, I've used the clips from Stretch Armstrong in the past, which, of course, they continually black out being able to use that clip from Stretch Armstrong. I wonder why, because it's so easy to understand when you see what they're doing with these towers. But I want to also point out with Westworld, when I was covering this video, and covering stuff from the video from Westworld, that the producers of the show, of course, they all reveal themselves, right? They reveal themselves with tattoos, with symbols all the time. And of course, no different here when you see them holding up pentagrams, because that's who was involved in all this stuff, and using frequencies and using the force and the power of the air, right? Satan is the god of the air, the prince of the air. They use the air, they use frequencies in the air to control and manipulate people. All the witches and all the Satanists know this, and they use this to cast spells on people, literally putting people under mind control and attacking the inside of their bodies with these frequencies. Witches and Satanists, for those of you that are new to this, always reveal themselves. This is part of sigil magic, it's part of black magic, it's part of universal law. They show themselves, but they use trickery. The trickery is that fiction is reality, and reality is fiction. That's part of it. The deception we believe with actors and movies and it's all part of deception. The people who are in those roles in Hollywood are pretty much playing real roles. We're playing things that are really actually unfolding in our society. These people are parts of the same secret societies. They all know. They're all on the end of what's going on. They're not shocked by it. They know what's going on. It's about controlling humanity. That's what the Brotherhood and the secret societies have always wanted. So I'm going to show you this picture real quick, because it shouldn't surprise you that these are the things that you need to do, when I'm long gone or whatever, when your day-to-day life, when you're suspicious of things, or you see things, look for tattoos, look for jewelry. I've said it for years, to show these witches and Satanists reveal themselves through their markings all the time. So here's a clip, or a picture, I should say, of the producers of the show, the creators of the show. They're talking about 5G and control, but using their tower that they have and not calling it that, of course. And look at her ring fit. Look at the ring right on her finger. Can you see that? Oh my goodness, look at the star on it. So she's flat out telling you she's a witch. Now, does somebody want to tell me that that's a ring for the Dallas Cowboys? Because this even has the lines going through it, where other people don't want to believe the 5-pointed star actually is the same thing as, witchcraft and Wiccan and the occult, what they use. Well, here, they're not even hiding, okay? So you have a witch who's behind the show. They know exactly what's going on. And they're spell casting on the audience while showing you what's going on. So here's a clip from the show talking about this new order, this order of this perfect world. Because remember, part of the mind control I've exposed over the years is about creating the perfect human. That has to do with transhumanism. That's why you constantly see these types of things with athletes pushing you, push yourself to be perfect, be the best you can be. These are all subliminal mind control techniques that they're using to get to this point where there's a perfect society, perfect humanity, but people won't be human anymore, which is really what this show reveals, that the majority of people are now transhuman, and that's what's occurring right at this moment. So take a look at the clip and listen and focus in on what they talk about with frequencies and playing the role of God, because we know that the Masons, the occult, they believe, they literally say it in their teachings, this isn't me just making something up, they believe that they're gods among us, that they have the forbidden knowledge, they know the hidden knowledge, and that they're gods among us, above us, and we're here to serve them. Take a look.
There's a beauty to this world, an order. That's what we like to believe. There is an order, a grand design. It was a dream for so long, and we finally made it real. A better world, a perfect one.
Humans are so bound by what they can hear, they'll never understand what they don't. What else exists below their threshold? They call this God's music. Vibration. There is a frequency at which the world vibrated. It caused joy, harmony. To below that frequency, chaos. Factor! In chaos, the tone resonated in such a way humans couldn't process. Their bodies shut down. Their organs stopped. They thought they were experiencing God. Humans always thought it was about them. Benign deities intervening on their behalf, testing them somehow.
So a frightening reality in this show, and you can see all the 5G towers, they're all lined up on the streets. These are all towers, right? And you hear the sound was the frequency. Now, we wouldn't be able to hear it, even though there are people out there who can hear and struggle with hearing the sounds from 5G. There are people you can look up, stories of people who have just been dealing with it for years now, being able to hear these frequencies. Most people can't hear it. see, on the show with the 5G, how those radio waves, that frequency was able to control people. When people hear this stuff, they listen to me, and they're so stupid. They do videos, stuff, they're like, this guy's out of his mind. He thinks this is really going on. And it's like, the government is openly telling us that they do this. Like, they're not hiding it. This isn't like me going, I watched Westworld, or I watched Stranger Things, and I'm just going with this crazy notion that it's really happening. Right? People like me are showing you these things that they're doing with CERN, these things that they're doing with mind control, with 5G, with getting certain goos inside your body that they constantly show you over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And these people just don't want to see it, and they're so prideful they can't see it, and they don't realize that they're just foregone finished in this realm, and for eternity, for the most part, because most of these people do not believe in God. They worship the false. Anyway, I won't even go on a rant about that. But DARPA, our government, the CIA, Department of Homeland Security, they've all been working on these types of techniques. Here's a clip even the History Channel openly acknowledged, which of course is controlled, but they'll give you some truths in that stuff because they'll show you it and then they'll be like, can it really happen? But would somebody want to control humanity's brain, the minds of people? And everyone's like, nobody would be that sick. And then you see like Bill Gates, you see all these giant tech companies that want all of your data, right? So what do you think they want your data for? Oh, because the common person thinks that they want your data because they want to sell you stuff. These people print money. They don't care. They don't want your data because they want to remarket an ad to you after you go to a website. And they don't even need your data for it. All they need is a code off the website you visit. They want your data because they want to know everything about you. And eventually they want to be inside of you. Right now, they're not there yet. Well, they are technically there with some people. But that's the overall end goal. That has to do with the mark. But here's the History Channel talking about DARPA, flat out telling you that DARPA is a government agency. This is what they're doing in testing. This is what your tax money is going towards. Things that we don't want or need, and pretty much the destruction of humanity. And still, these zombies think that this is a good thing somehow.
The U.S. government's Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency developed what they call Next Generation Non-Surgical Neurotechnology, designed to allow the human brain to directly interface with machines.
Know that DARPA is exploring human-machine interfaces that include direct connections between the brain and outside systems.
We could have a sensor maybe on the surface of our head, or maybe implanted somewhere in our body, in our brain, or something that allows us to interact directly with our communications gear, our processing gear, our weapon systems, and so on. You put this sensor on and you think the right way, and you can increase the speed of the fan by thinking and controlling that thought with direct-to-mind or mind-machine interfacing.
But there are those who believe that this same technology could also be used by DARPA as a new form of mind control, like their counterparts at the CIA. DARPA-funded researchers have spent decades investigating how the human mind can be altered. Project Pandora, which studied the possibility of using microwave radiation to control human behavior. But DARPA's investigation of how machines can affect and possibly control the brain continues to this day.
There are explicit programs of DARPA to read and write to human brains.
We can send instructions and information to an actual person, for instance, with this kind of technology, to let another person control their actions.
DARPA may possess the technology to remotely control the human mind. A more permanent kind of mind control technology is looming, and it involves modifying the human brain by altering the human body.
If you put these pieces together, they can be injected and insert this DNA to certain areas of the brain, turn you into something.
Right, and why do people look at this stuff and go, oh, that would never happen? Because they're naive. Because they think to themselves, oh, who would ever want to do that? Yet we constantly see people on this earth lusting for power, lusting for control, right? And is it ever enough? It's like a compulsive gambler, a compulsive addict.
Oh.
Is it ever enough? And the answer is no. And with these people, it's not enough. They're bored. All the money that they have, all the things that they have, they want control of humanity. They also want to protect themselves from humanity if humanity ever found out what they were doing. Why Why do you think there's such a big move for grabbing those bang bags? Why is there such a big move for censoring free speech? People like myself, aren't we supposed to be tinfoil hat crazy people that people are just supposed to dismiss? Or is it because we're so far, all of us are so far in the know that we make perfect sense and people hear us and then they don't want that because they go, oh, okay, these people aren't just like screaming from the rooftops, they're actually pointing out things that we're showing them over and over and then showing what our government's actually doing and the patents that they have and the things that they're doing. Right. So this is what we're dealing with. So 5G and frequencies and what's going on with people and putting certain things in them, this is extremely frightening if you think about it. But we actually live amongst people who pridefully want to do this. We actually live amongst people who think that this is going to be good for humanity. There's going to be people who fight for this because they're going to be told that they can live forever. They're going to be told they don't have to worry about disease anymore. There'll be no more one-niner, no more masks, no more restrictions. There'll be no more cancer. There'll be no more AIDS. You'll hear the whole lineage of things they'll come up with to get people to do it. And humanity, the majority of people will go, that sounds great. And then, as the Bible tells us in the book of Revelation, these people will be tormented because they'll be seeking death and not able to find it, which is another common theme we always see in a lot of these movies, is these people looking for immortality and then regretting it when their conscience realizes that they're in a simulation and they're not really alive. Scary to think about, but the truth. So that's Westworld showing you this stuff, and that's your own government who practices it. But it must be a crazy conspiracy, right? Give me a break. Give me an utter break. I thank everyone for being here. Hope you're all doing well. Appreciate everyone for being here. Hope you're all doing well. God bless you and your families.
All right. I think I'm live. I've been doing this experimental delay with the stream to keep it from buffering so much, and basically it's making me not know exactly when it goes live or when it turns off, and there we go. So forgive me for that, but I do want to still do live streams. But anyhow, I'm Mike Winger, and I'm here to answer your questions about God, Christianity, the Bible, all that sort of thing. And when I don't have an answer, I won't pretend I do, as you know. I will just try to give you the best thoughts I've got on that topic for you to be stirred up in your own thoughts and your own thinking.
Jesus, I say, there is no all my days. I want to praise wonders of Almighty God. I confess my shelter, tower in this way, where there we go, oh, never cease to worship. I see for joy at the work of your hands. Forever I stand. Promised I heard you. This child can face a certain grace because he lives. I can face tomorrow because he lives. Because I know the future. I cross the what with I see the light and I know you need. Because I know he holds the future. Comes up. Udon. Orange like me, I was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now it's easy. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to beat, and grace my fears relieved. How precious came the use of I first believed. My chains are gone, I've been set free. I got my Savior has ransomed me. Like a flood, His mercy reigns, unending love, amazing His promise His word, my hope secure. You are good. You are good. the sun forbid to shine, but God who called It's God will worship. Ida. Ida. Ah! You are my hiding place. You fill my heart with stones. Oh, the rivers when I am offering my trust in you. I will trust in you. Let the wind stay high in the street of God. You are my hiding place. You always fill my heart with songs of deliverance. Whenever I am afraid, I will trust in you. I will trust in you. Let the wind stay high and sweet in the street of God. I will trust in Praise fill my heart with songs of deliverance. Whenever I am afraid, I will trust in you. I will trust in you. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to beat, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first